Johannesburg is a diverse city with a population of about 4.5 million people. Here you'll find people of all creeds, colours and nationalities. One of the traits its people have in common is their commitment to keeping fit and healthy. The growth of interest in fitness over the years has prompted government to invest in infrastructure and events to keep the city moving.
We're in the process of rolling out infrastructure to support cycling in Sandton. We're in the process of building a dedicated cycling lane between Rosebank and Sandton, expanding our sidewalks. But we need to create safety around these places so that people can feel that they have greater access to these spaces and they can utilize them. And the fact that people are aware they want to take advantage is very exciting, and that's the feedback we've received.
The Soweto Marathon recently took place in this iconic historically charged township. Known as the People's Race, runners contested near the houses of South African Nobel Peace Prize winners and passed 6 significant heritage sites, including Chris Hani Baragwanath Hospital, Walter Sisulu Square, and the Hector Peterson Memorial.
We're excited that the Soweto Marathon has come back on track. As you would know, a few years ago, the Soweto Marathon had stopped being staged, and from last year on, the project has started again, and we've partnered with Athletics South Africa to ensure that the Soweto Marathon assumes its position. It's a very popular marathon on the calendar of Johannesburg and Soweto in particular, and we think that it contributes towards the overall objective of, amongst others, promoting healthy living lifestyles, but also competitive sport in our city, because competitive sport is important. It's a contributor to the economy. And for us, that's an opportunity to continue promoting our city as a destination.
The routes of all 3 events, the 42, 21 and 10-kilometre races, extended through the heart of Soweto to reveal the township's rich history to the participants.
I'm Rutendo Nyawora. I run for Nedbank Club, but I'm from Zimbabwe. And I was running 10 kilometers. And my aim was to be in top 3, but I ended up winning the race, so I'm so happy with my performance. I take part on this race because it's a people's race, and I take because I know some few years back there's some people who lost their life while they were training for this race, so I just come here to do it for them and say sorry to the family as well for the lost.
I'm Lavinia. I took it from Namibia, but yeah, I just came here to improve my time because it's long time without running, because this one is the first event this year. I'm very happy because I thought I came number 5, but now I came number 4. I improved my time.
My name is Amina Maziva. My performance was good today, but I was trying for a 33, but I couldn't.
It was really nice. It was a nice experience, to run in the community. It was really fun, especially the support. So that really made it special for me. And it was actually a nice and easy race from the first 10 kilometers. We started together, and from 12 kilometers I broke away. But there was really nice support on the road.
Much to the disappointment of Southern Africa's running diaspora, the 2013 event was cancelled. In the 2 years that followed, there was certainly no lack of support.
We are here to support our members. We know that the Soweto Marathon is a very popular race on the South African racing calendar, and particularly for Discovery Vitality members. A lot of them are here today taking part. So as Team Vitality, we're here to offer them massages and some Woolworths catering and just a place to chill post-race.
Today we're here for feeding families. We're giving every person that finishes this race a full 500-gram box of Future Life that they can take home and feed the family. It's a people's race. The community is involved. There's no other race like this in the world. This is where we want to be.
We just love that it is fostering this running culture within the country in all types of areas, and it's saying that anyone, no matter who you are, where you're from, all walks of life, you can just put on a pair of shoes and you can show up and you can take part in a 10K, a half marathon, a marathon. And it's that mentality of getting people off the couch and onto the road.
The City of Johannesburg with Discovery Health staged the first ever South African urban duathlon in Sandton during the Eco-Mobility World Festival in October. The Run Cycle Run Challenge was aimed at encouraging residents to engage in physical activity to improve their health and protect their lives.
We just hosted the Discovery Duathlon, which was a first of its kind event that took place in Sandton, obviously supporting Eco-Mobility Month, which was where we closed off many of the streets as Johannesburg, just to show people that you can cycle to work, you can walk to work.
We're quite excited to have partnered with Discover on the duathlon, and We think that the launch initiative was quite successful. It's been a platform from which we can grow community participation in different activities, and in many ways we would continue to support those companies and institutions that contribute towards healthy living lifestyles.
It was a 2-day event which took place last weekend with a sprint, super sprint and standard distance, and the thinking there was just to really encourage both elite athletes as well as people starting for the first time. So if you could do a 5-kilometer park run, you were able to take part in one of our duathlon events. We had corporate teams, we had team events where family members one person could do the run, one could do the cycle. We found that the biggest barrier to a triathlon is obviously the swim. So for us, it made a lot of sense in the streets of Sandton to obviously not have a swim and to do it as a run, cycle, run. And it was just making exercise in that way and that sort of being part of a community of that type of event far more accessible to your everyday person.
If you look at the health profile of our communities, the highest contributor to morbidity and mortality in our city is lifestyle diseases. It is about how we treat our bodies, what we eat, what we drink, and whether we exercise and whether we get enough exercise. And we need to create greater consciousness about that. And we see the duathlon as an important part of contributing towards changes in lifestyle, in as much as we see other related programs where we've got a list of restaurants that are participating in promoting healthy meals in their menus and promoting different eating habits in our communities as a contributor. We're talking to companies about their canteens and what they serve in their canteens so that we can promote healthy food in the different canteens. So that in fact, when we look at the health outcomes, we don't always look at them from the point of view of what happens at the clinic, what happens at the hospital, to in fact, how do we reduce the burden of disease on the people of Johannesburg, and through the reduction of the burden of disease, improve the quality of life of the citizens of Johannesburg.
According to the African Green City Index, Johannesburg has the second highest amount of green space. And it is not surprising that this has been the perfect environment for a global initiative called Parkrun. Parkrun was introduced to South Africa by the record-breaking marathon and ultramarathon athlete Bruce Fordyce, a Johannesburg resident himself.
Parkrun is the idea of the Parkrun founder Paul Sinton-Hewitt, who's a South African, who started it in the UK, in London, in a park called Bushy Park, 11 years ago. And he, over a process of time, hit on the correct ingredients, which are that it is always on a Saturday morning, it is always over a distance of 5Ks, it is always free, and the only thing we ask you to do is to print a simple little barcode and bring it with you to the parkrun so that you can have your barcode scanned as you cross the finish line and you can get your results sent to you. And Paul thought of that formula 11 years ago, and it started off very, very slowly with 13 people at one parkrun, and then it grew, and then we've been friends for years, and 4 years ago he asked me would I be interested in starting it in South Africa. We had one parkrun in Delta Park, Johannesburg. 26 people came on that Saturday morning. The following week it was cold, so there were only 17. And now we have built up to 70 parkruns in South Africa and over 300,000 registered parkrunners. Worldwide, there's 775 parkruns and 2 million parkrunners. In the many years that I've been running, one of the things that has changed is that in the years, say 15, 20 years ago, it was much more serious, and only serious marathon runners ran marathons and ran and trained and did those sorts of things, whereas now it's everybody. So you'll get walkers, cyclists, triathletes, trail runners, skateboarders, everything. The growth of exercise has expanded beyond the elite to everybody.
Parkrun relies very heavily on volunteers, especially on the day in terms of its operations. What sort of uptake of volunteers are you seeing? Is there a growth? Are people interested in volunteering?
Well, I'm totally amazed, actually, because one of the things I said to Paul when we started in South Africa is that we don't have that volunteer spirit, or that's what I thought. I thought this might be a struggle for us, and we may have to find some way of rewarding our volunteers. It's just that I've noticed from things like the Football World Cup and some of those things that people expect to get paid or expect to get something for their hard work. Whereas in the UK, the volunteer spirit is enormous. People just love volunteering. In fact, I was wrong. In South Africa, we have the same spirit, and people just love volunteering. And it takes a while. And one of the problems is that people want to volunteer, but they also want to run or walk. But in fact, we've seen a phenomenal growth in people just coming along and helping with the timing or the scanning of the barcodes or marshalling at a corner, directing the runners. And for a lot of people, that Saturday morning outing, even if they're not running or walking, just to get out there, see their friends, see their community, get a hug from a park runner who will say thank you for volunteering. That seems to drive a lot of them. We've just had a conference of all the parkrun managers from around the world. The future is absolutely breathtaking. And at our conference, with the statisticians advising us and helping us, we predict that in about 7 years from now, 7 to 8 years from now, there will be 20 million parkrunners in the world. There will be, I think, a good 2 to 3 of those million will be South Africans. There will be 1 million people running every single Saturday. There will be over 100,000 people volunteering every single Saturday. This is not parkrun. This is the single biggest sporting movement in the world. And that is where we see ourselves going.
Before we let you go, the long-awaited Josie My Beginning, a community innovation fund, is now accepting submissions of innovative ideas from local residents and community-based entities geared towards improving service delivery. Take the opportunity to submit your ideas at www.josiemybeginning.co.za. Business Spotlight will be back next week right here on CNBC Africa.